Hey, hi Hamida. Can you confirm if my voice is audible? Okay, so let me share my screen. Someone please confirm if my screen is visible. Can you see my screen, guys? Okay, great. Okay, so let's start. Let's not waste much time because okay. So guys, in the last session of early IDOC, what we did is we configured one IDOC, okay, and we tried to trigger it directly from creating from the W19 because we don't have any other system available. So this is our message type G customer data, okay, and basic type is G customer which we have created, and inside that we feed some data like customer information like customer ID 11111, name ABAP, customer age 21, mobile number this, okay, email ID and this, okay. So this we sent from the W19, okay. Then uh, what we have to do is now we have to save this data in our tables, or we have to start some process. We have to let's print some smart form based on this data, or some info like some transaction based on that we'll have to do, right? That's the reason we are getting this IDOC in our system. Somewhere some has to data has to be stored, right? So first let's see what is the IDOC number which we have generated, okay? So if we go into that IDOC number, let's copy the number. So we have three tables mostly which holds the IDOC data, okay? So which are those three tables? So I'll just show you. One is EDIDC. This table holds the control record, means from where this IDOC has come, all those information will be stored over here. See, we can see this is my receiver port, this is my partner number, okay. This is the port, this is the partner number, and then message type is the customer data, basic type is this one, okay. Function model ls, role is ls, when it was created. So accordingly we can see this information in EDIDC table. So sometime what we have to create some kind of reports that how many IDOCs we have created, received one day, uh, which all message type was received, like that, okay. So that we can see this in some reporting status. Sometime we have to report this also, so we can use this ADIDC table over here, okay. Then we have next table called EDIDS. So S means it holds a status. So our IDOC got failed, right? It is still not failed, it got in W in middle status, okay. W02. If I go, so I want to change the insert, okay. So we'll go to W02. We can see the status of this IDOC, right? So if I just go here and give some date, so our IDOC is not failed. If it was failed, then it should be 51 status, right? So now we have to do some processing, and accordingly we have to change the status of this IDOC. What kind of processing we have to do? If the data which is coming from this which is coming from outside, okay, if it's matching our requirement, okay, or like it is unique record, or we are going to store this data which is coming in the smart in this IDOC, then we will make it as 53. Means the data which is coming is useful for us, okay. And if the data is incorrect, let's suppose if I just open this IDOC and they forgot to send the customer name, okay, or they forgot to send the age and name both. So this is incorrect data or incomplete data, okay. In that case, we have to write some logic in our function module, okay, to tell whether the data is incomplete, send the IDOC again. Something like that. Some message we have to send back to the system from where we have received the information, okay. So where do we write the logic? So we have to write that in the function model which we have created for this part. Okay. So we'll do that today. Okay. I forgot the PPT. Just give me a sec. Where's the PPT for this? So we created one function module, right? It's SE37 and then G customer process. Okay. So this was the function module we created. Oh, this is not exist. Why? Okay, this does not exist actually. So I might have taken wrong function module. Okay, so from W19 also I can take it, or we have some table also that from there we the linkage is available for the message type and the IDOC type. So let's see that W02. I'll take this. What I'll take from here is my IDOC number. Okay, so this is my IDOC number. Take the IDOC number, go to W19. If you don't want to go the table, okay, execute this. Okay, inbound function model you can click on, just press F4 over here, and if it is there, it will be able to see. So this is my function module name. Okay, G function mod demo. So now we can go to that function module SE37. Okay, display. See, currently it is empty. It does not have any component. We have not given any component over here, right, guys? Because we didn't have anything to write that time. So this is important thing. See, we have to write the processing logic of the thing, that how are you going to process that data? Okay, how are you going to store the data? How are you going to use that IDOC? So without writing this logic, the IDOC is no use. Okay, so you have to write something over here. Like if I just first want to see whether this FM is being triggered or not, so that we can see how we can see is I'll put a debugger over here. Okay, so we'll just put a breakpoint. Okay, let's see whether the code is coming over here or not. Okay, just activate it and let's try to trigger that IDOC one more time. Okay, so W90. So we have this IDOC, execute, standard inbound, click on OK, and it has not gone. Okay, one sec, it should go actually F4 in the foreground. Click on that. Interface for function model is incorrect. Okay, so it is not going right now. So we have to write logic for that, and let's see whether why it is not going in the debugging mode. It should go actually. Interface of function module is incorrect. Okay, we need to create some kind of interface for this. Okay, so first let's write that code actually. How do you going to use that code? We'll see the setting later that if something is not working. Okay, so guys, one second. Okay, so we will write the logic here in this function module, and we'll try to save the data which is coming. Okay, so we have created our tables, we have created our function module. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so guys, do you remember our segments or the IDOC type? So we will be requiring the segment, we will require the table name to use that. Okay, and we will also see the concept of lock object over here. Like we have not seen the concept of lock object, so we are waiting for such requirement where we can utilize this. So this is where we can use the lock object currently. Okay, so what was our basic type? G customer, right? W30, G customer. Go there, click on display. This is my segment. Okay, let's copy this segment in the program. The function module we can copy, change, and let's put it over here. We'll utilize this later. Okay, this is my basic type. Now let's get the table name. So the table name was, one sec, G customer IDOC. Okay, SC11, G customer IDOC, display. Okay, I gave the wrong name, so that's the reason. Display. Yeah, this is my table which is going to store the data which we are getting from the system. Okay, so these two things are required for now, and the basic type is fine. No, this was a segment actually, which we are going to use. Okay, and then my basic type. What's the basic type over here? We created basic type W30, right? So this is my basic type G customer. So these three things will be required, okay, to get the data, to do the processing, and to build the logic. Okay, so here first work we have to do is which all parameters are gonna come. So when we get the data, right? When we get the data, which all parameters will be coming? Like in the import of this, what all those things will be coming, that we have to tell to this program actually, this method actually. Okay, so we will receive the data. Okay, in the form of IDOC table. Okay, so we'll have to declare some structure first. Okay, we will get the data in this segment. Okay, this is my segment which is going to receive the data. This is my basic type which is going to be used. Okay, so now we have to create some local structure, some type table. Okay, get the status, all those things we have to do and store it in our table first. Okay, so let's create one data thing. Okay, data, and then we'll create one table. Let's create some WA underscore customer. Okay, or we can see sub LW customer. This is my work area which will hold the data. Okay, at the runtime. Type, what's the type table of this? Okay, this is my work area, and we have to use a table now, right? So LT underscore customer type table of, this is my these things. Okay, now this will hold my data for the table which we are going to use. Now the second part, okay, we need to maintain the status also, right? Status data, control data, that also we have to access it, and accordingly we have to change it actually. Okay, so for that we'll have to create some work areas, and that will be more than enough, and the table also. So we'll create three tables over here. Okay, LW EDIDC, like I showed you these three tables, right? So these will be required. Type EDIDC. Okay, then we have EDIDS type. So we saw this table also, right? EDIDS. And then next we have LW for EDID4 or D. There are two tables actually. D4 is a new table which we use for our data part, but earlier we used to use EDITD, so which was for data. Okay, I think I have forgot to show you that table. So let's go to SE16N. Okay, then go to EDIDS. Oh, sorry, EDIDD. Okay, this is not a correct category. So we should use DTID4. Okay, this is the latest table we are using. Okay, this is the latest system. That's the reason we have EDID4. So if you see here, IDOC data record from 4.0 onwards. Okay, so here if we give the IDOC number, we will receive, we can see the data in one line that this data was received. So you can see here, this comes in the one line actually. All the data will be stored in one kind of line. So accordingly, we have to extract the data. So if you see here, see 111 AVPX, this is age, this is mobile number, okay, this is email ID, and this is some pin code information which we have sent from there will come over here. Okay, now we have to access this data. This is stored in the EDID4 table. Okay, so we'll be using this table data. So EDID4. Okay, now we have to use the table or data also. So we'll create one table type also. So LT underscore EDIDC type table of EDIDC. Okay. See, workerian tables flows mostly with the, if it is not in use, then we will delete it later. Okay. That's not a problem. But if let's create it before only so that we don't have to create at a runtime. Type table of EDIDS, and the last one LW EDID4 type table of EDID4. Okay, so now we have created this trick is going to hold my data. Okay, this is going to control the record. This is going to change the status of table if you want to change the status. Currently, if you see that status for this, okay, the status for this that IDOC will be some 64 something. So in this EDIDS, once you feel that okay, everything is working fine for us, then you have to change the status for this record. Okay, so here the current status is 74 or I guess 62. Okay, so this you have to change to 53, like the processing it's working fine and the you are storing going to store the data. Okay, so let's do that. So just pretty printer first. Okay, yeah, so we have created this part first. Now sorry, we need to define some more things actually. We need to define the segment also, and some queue or reference also if required. So we'll define one segment also, or some work area for storing this segment data. Okay, the customer information. So we'll just use LW underscore. We'll give the same name, customer info type. Okay, this will not take because I have completed the code over here. Then we can give the segment name also. Okay, so if I just double click, this is nothing but structure, right? When we create any segment in the W30, okay, it automatically generate one structure. So guys, if you are copying some code from one system to another system somewhere, and then do you see this is kind of structure? One time you just see this description also. Okay, so it says the segment to get the customer information. So when we are creating the segment in W31, right? So from here when we are creating the segment, right, so we give this name, and then this segment was created, so we give the what all fields we are going to use, right? So once we save it and activate it, automatically one structure gets created in our data dictionary as well. Okay, so if you go to SE11 and then go to data type, okay, display, and then it will give you the structure information. Okay, so this was for just knowledge purpose. So sometime when we are doing this, so like I was copying some code that time, I did not see the description actually, and that time what I did, I created the structure directly, but later on when I was creating the IDOC, it was not allowing me to do it actually. Okay, we cannot use directly, and if you try to give the same name over there in the W30, it will not accept it actually. It has to be created from there only. Okay, so now we have created this thing. Now what we have to do is we have to uh, get the data. How will you receive the data in your system? Which component is going to receive the data in your system? Can you write my in my chat, guys? Which component is going to receive the system? I'm waiting, guys. Anyone? How are we going to receive the data over here? We are calling this function module, right? We have done the mapping in the process code, right? We have done in W20, we did the coding. We give this process code and FS code right over here. Some G receiver, we have used a partner. And then in the inbound function module, we give our G customer data, right? And this one small process code. If we click on the process code, we give our function module name G function mod, right, guys? So with this help, that function module will be called. Okay. See this function module. If we click over, it will direct me to this code, which is we have written here, right? So now this data will be flowed to where it will flow actually, which how this keyword will be used, how this data will be used. Select statement. No, select statement is for like uh, if you're fetching the data from the DB actually, not from the data which we are getting from the IDOCs. But thanks for the try, Sai. Anyone, guys? Have you ever worked on this part, guys? This function module creation for the ALE IDOCs? We have stored in the database temporary. Guys, let's be interactive. Then only it will be fun actually to work on that. Let's not it be one to one. Okay. Let's make it bit interactive. Anyone, guys? Anyone? How will we receiving the data? How do we receive the data in any of the function module? Which parameter we use? Which parameter do we use? Anyone? Which parameter we use in function module to get the data in the function module? Yes. Guys, other also you should answer actually. Sai is answering, okay, 3-4 times. That's correct, Sai. We receive the data in the function module with the help of import parameters. Okay. With that import parameter, we get the data and then we do the processing and then we make it change actually. Okay. So how will you receive the data in the table actually? Okay. So we'll have to assign that first in our table segment. Okay. Then only it will be accessed and used in function module. Okay. So go to change mode. If you see here, we have some more option like import. Okay, here the import thing will come, export, changing. If you're going to send table data, okay, in the function, because now we are getting the data in bulk, right? It can be having 3 segment, it can have 4 segment, it can have 5 segment, correct? So we need to use the table data. We are going to hold the EDIC like data, EDI, table data, right? And status also we are going to use. So we have to use all those three, and then accordingly we will use that. Okay, so we have to create some parameter over here. So let's do that. IDOC underscore, I will just use this control. Okay, we'll use a parameter like associate type is EDIDC. Okay, so it says it's obsolete, but still we use it, so no need to worry on that part. Sorry. And then we have IDOC data. Okay, like EDI D4, which is a holding our data. Okay, and then we have IDOC status. So these three we'll be using for now. We have some more table also that we have to add, but for now we'll be using this only. Okay, like EDITS. Okay, so we have created the table over here, right? If you want to create some exception also, like when something is not working or some wrong function module is called, then that time we can use the exception, or we can directly jump to the source code. We can write the source code over here. Here we have one more thing available. If you see here, it says it's a regular function module. It's not a RFC module, or it's not an update task. Okay, but we might have to use update task later on. That we'll see how we are going to use it. But for now, let's go. Yeah, table. Correct, Gaurav. Gaurav. That's the correct answer actually. So with the help of table and with the help of changing parameters, with the help of import parameter, these are the three things we can send the information inside the function module. Export is only used to export the data. Okay, so all three changing can be, it can send the data and it can receive the data. Both the way it works like import and export both. Okay, so changing it's possible. Tables, we can send the table data, and then in the return also we can send some data if you want to return it. Okay, that is also possible in the tables, but that depends which type of table we are creating. So if it's optional, you can give the optional. If it's mandatory, you can give the mandatory part also. Okay, over here. So we might have to use a status part also. So I think status, we do not use EDIDS. We have to use BTI. This is a type actually we use for this thing, BTI doc. And then I forgot the exact name. So let's search Control F4. Search for structure. Okay. Then we will have something called stat or something. Yeah, IDOC status. Yeah, subset of all IDOC status. We'll be using this one. Okay. Then that's all for this now. We can move actually. Let's try to activate this function module. Okay, it says some error. Let's see what is the error. LWETID was already declared. Okay, so let's go to the source code. Click on the pencil button. LW we have to give is LT. Okay, yeah, that's working fine. Activate the code. Okay, now we have done the initial part of this. We have checked which all tables data we are going to receive. Okay, we have seen created the customer local thing. Okay, we have created the ADIDC data. Now, if we are going to receive this data, all right, IDOC control data, we can copy this data to our local table which we have created. Which one? ADIDC, LTIDIC. Then similar to EDIDS4 and the data EDID4. So we have to use that, right? So after doing that, what we can do here is then we can go for processing. We can validate our data whether the data is not duplicated. It should not be duplicate, okay? Or because we have only one primary key, or the data can be uh, what we say, the data should not be incorrect, the data should not be half, or all the values should be filled. So all those logic we have to write based on this data. Okay, so now we have to copy the data in this parameter already. Okay, so this will come automatically, or we can just assign that actually. Okay, if you want to do some more modification, you want to delete some data on this segment also, that is possible. So guys, you will be seeing it bit difficult to see without the data over here. So let's see why that IDOC error is coming, and then we'll see why it is not triggering and coming over here. So I'll just mention breakpoint over here. Okay, because it should activate. Otherwise, we are missing some setting, and then it will not work actually. So let's go to W19 first. Until unless this is calling the function module, this is not going to work. Okay, I put a function module over there. was saved but cannot or should not be processed. Why? Okay, let's see SMWE02. What was the error? Okay, just execute. The IDOC will be created over here. Okay, what was the error over here? Status record, we can go 56. Okay, EDID receiver port in control record is invalid. Oh, that might be the one of the reason. Okay, that the port which we have used is not correct. You can see this 62. Okay, IDOC with error, receiver port in control. Okay, so we will have to use the correct receiver port for this IDOC. Okay. See, now we are getting the blank over here. We don't know what's the this. So accordingly, if you're writing the logic based on our function module, we can give some messages over here based on the validation we are doing. Like data is empty. Like we got the standard error, right? Receiver port is invalid. So we have to correct the port. Which port we have to correct is WE21. So we have port over here, right? So we have created TRFC port. We have not created any port, but we have used one of the port from here, which is A Kumar, right? This port we have used, but looks like this is not working or this is not this is not correct actually. So we might have to use some other port. So let's see whether it's going to working or not. Connection text. It's working actually, but this is inbound for inbound or outbound actually. Under port. Okay, this is for I guess inbound, outbound actually. Just give me a sec. We'll find one the port actually, and then we'll work on. Okay, this should work. Port to 800 actually. And it's in the Barcelona, Spain. That's fine. Attributes. Log on. 800 is saved from 8 user 800. Okay, connection test. No, this is also 810 actually. So this is going to port to 800. Okay, I think let's try to use this port. Okay. So where we have given this port setting, guys, are you able to recollect where we have given this port setting? Do you remember the PPT which we have created where we have given the port, guys? Which T code we have used to give the port? So let's go to W20. Okay. LS. We went to the receiver, right? So we have partner over here, then we have customer data over here. Then here we can give the port actually. No, not here. Give me a second, man. Partner is fine. So you should continue working on the things, otherwise you will also forget like me. Because in IDOC there are a lot of setting available. So let's create one port partner actually. So I can give EDI department. Why it is coming like that? Type is F4. Okay. Then isn't. If you just press F4 simply, press star. We get all the object name over here. 2525 entries, which is not of use. You can give any name. G test customer. Enter a valid number. Guys, where do we maintain the port setting, guys? Can anyone help me over here? We need to change the port of the IDOC or the basic type. Where are we going to change? I showed that in my last videos. I think I remember that. BD57 was for logical system we have created. So there we do not give anything, nothing related to port type. Okay. Then we had linkage also in W57. So there also we linkage the FM along with basic type and then message type. So that also we did correctly. Then we function module characteristic that we did not do because it was not required, I guess. Okay, this is maintain function module characteristics. So here we give whether it's input or output. Okay. Then we have process code mapping also. So we did the process BD64. If I see there, we created some distribution model or not. So let's see if any distributed model we gave or we forgot. Okay. So G customer we created, I guess. So if you see here, mm, okay, let's search for it. No, it is not there. We have not created any distributed model. Guys, I think I'm not able to recollect it right now. Let me just Google it. Okay. Let's see it again. No, this is PD54. It's fine. RFC is fine. Create a port W21. Select the RFC and logical system. Above, please see page. It says W21. Okay. So let's go W21. What it says. Okay. Here we created the Tarinkla RFC. We have this port available, which is coming to 800. Okay. And then this is a RFC function which is working fine. We see the connection result is fine. Okay, so we have to utilize this RFC function. Then remote logon, it's not necessary. So it is sending me to there. Okay, so this is working fine. This is my port number. Okay, now this port has to be utilized in our partner or W21. No, and we have to use actually somewhere here. I'm not able to recollect it. So if we use the process code for input parameter, no, I think guys that's not gonna work today. Okay, let's connect tomorrow. I'll just try to create that thing. And one more thing we'll take up. We'll try to enhance the existing basic type, and that will help us actually to work on the standard IDOC. Sometimes we get the requirement to enhance the standard message type like mat mass. We have order, we have invoices. So we'll see that how we can change that. Okay. So we'll drop off today and then we'll collect tomorrow. Okay. Okay. Thanks all for joining.